Welcome everybody to our podcast. This is How is the Weather with Ina and Heather. This is podcast number 5. So yes, we've been here for 5 weeks, coming, and bringing some cool content. I think our content's pretty cool. I mean, just conversation. You can come, bring your coffee, sit down, have a chat, and just hang out with us. Right, the Heather Playford.
The Heather Playford. Canada.
So episode number 5, Heather. I mean, I just wanted to let you know, guys, just in case you are not aware, this is a podcast. We record it live. So if you are following us on YouTube, make sure to follow us also on our podcast, which is inamara.com/podcast. So you can hear it again and again, practice your listening skills, and learn with whatever we're bringing here to you. So you can watch it live every Friday at 12:34. You can also watch it, anytime you want. But if you want to, make sure you listen to us while you're driving, while you're walking your dog, while you are on the treadmill. Just follow us on the podcast. We'll be there, full of lovely content for you. Just in case you don't understand any specific line and a specific expression you're using, we can always come back here and listen to it again and keep improving. All right?
All right.
Awesome. So the Heather Playford. Sorry, I'm going to have to keep calling you the Heather Playford. I cannot help it.
There's only one.
How was your week, honey? Actually, last week we didn't have our podcast, so we have 2 weeks to talk about what has been going on with you for the last 2 weeks.
Well, a wild 2 weeks. I brought my notebook because last week I listened to a podcast that got me all excited. And so I took, I think, more notes than I did throughout the entirety of high school. And I'm going to share that with you in a moment.
I'm really curious now to know what's there.
It is. You know Brene Brown. I think we've talked about her before.
I love her. She's a great author. She's got TED Talks too.
And now she is, of course, doing a podcast.
Of course. Just great people do podcasts.
Yeah. And so this one that she did was with 2 sisters who are both authors, and they're in the same sort of genre as, not like self-help, but like understanding self, why we're doing things, how we feel about them, how is, like at the end of the day, I think it's to be a happier, more like a better member of society, someone who can contribute in a kind way.
Always good to hear content about this subject.
Yeah. And so anyways, the basis of what they were speaking about was how you need to finish your emotional cycles. So if all energy is, it moves, it can't be destroyed. If you've been somewhere and you've had to, bring back your feelings or keep something in, you still have to release those feelings. Otherwise, they bottle up in you. Yeah. And so their main talk was about how to identify what you're feeling and then also be able to finish that cycle so that you can be at peace again.
That's a great tip for us. I really want to know how to do it. And I'm sure whoever is watching us now live and whoever is following our podcast, this is such a great subject. It's going to be used for everybody. So yeah, let us know, what did you learn with Brene Brown? Was you talking with someone specific? Oh, loads of notes there. Okay, we want to hear.
If you're only listening, I've just opened up a notebook that is filled top to bottom for about 6 pages.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's productive.
So the authors that she was speaking to have just finished a book about burnout. And so I wonder who I know that you know has just been through a burnout.
Gosh, let's talk about burnout. I think, honestly, once I start talking more about it, I hear more and more people talking about the subject. I think we kind of connect with each other because I did not really see much about the subject on the internet. I mean, you can find it if you go and type like how to handle burnout. But in general, like you're not just, scrolling down your feed and then suddenly people are talking about burnout. But I feel like people are in general talking more and more. And I wonder why. Because everybody's at home. I mean, in general, we are more at home than before for obvious reasons. Loads of people are having trouble to distinguish between work time and personal time and family time because it's just like one life happening in the same room and everything is happening at the same time. So it's kind of new. We've never been in such a situation before. Somehow I feel like I've been preparing myself for this moment because for the last few years I've been working from home and feeling quite isolated because I'm in a city that I don't know many people here. Like I'm from somewhere else. I'm from São Paulo, Osasco, and my family is not around. So I moved quite recently for, 3-4 years I've been here. So I felt like, everything that everybody's living now for the last past months, because we've been living things about COVID and stuff. I feel like everybody's like, oh my God, I cannot, where can I go to meet people? I feel isolated. I feel lonely and stuff. I'm like, come on, I've been living this for 4 years already. Like, I can handle it. But
old news, yeah.
Yeah, I've been living it for the past few years and working from home and stuff. But the last few months, of course, it's more intensified. And, it's like I'm doing double or triple of what I was doing. And I think it's healthy. Let's start talking about burnout, please, because it's so subtle, It's like it's happening, you don't see it. It's just in front of you, but you were just there carrying on with your life. And then when you see it, like, okay, I have just no energy literally to do anything. And it's not just physical, it's mental. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought the subject because I think it's going to benefit many people. Let's develop, this kind of conversation because it's healthy.
Okay, so the main takeaway, the quote, if you will, is if you don't want to burn out, stop living life like you're on fire.
This girl is on fire.
But I think like there's a big point to that, is that if you're running, like you're burning the candle at both ends, that's living life on fire. Yeah, and so a lot of it is, her main stuff is about boundaries and taking time for yourself and, making sure that all of your needs are met. And so I like that one.
Cool. Yeah. I like analogies, like metaphors, because it illustrates. And yeah, we're on fire, guys. Like, as long as you have your basic needs are being supported, like, come on, like, let's do things wisely. And I think the main thing is learning how to work wisely. Understanding your time and your priorities and being strategic about things, But I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really matter how much you talk about it. You have to live it so you understand, where are the boundaries? Where can I improve? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think it's so difficult because, I remember watching it was probably a Mind Valley, and Vishan was talking about how he organizes his day. And so it's stress-free because he's organized everything down to the last second. In theory, brilliant. And I can show you a whole stack of me like blocking out time and putting the things in it. Here's what happens. And like his thing was, it worked for him, but also he went to an office for this many hours a day, and he had assistants to do things for him. And, he had someone else running his family, I assume his partner, so when he had kid time in the evening, which was like an hour or two blocked off to spend only with his children, I mean, that's beautiful. But so many other people need to text their kids throughout the day and like check in, or maybe you need to help them with something, or, whatever, like the little life bits that he just doesn't have to deal with because he has that much assistance, So like, while I can block off time all I want, if my cousin calls me and needs to talk for 45 minutes, like that's the thing I have to do. And so that's 45 minutes of not working or not painting or whatever the stuff I do in my day, whatever I've scheduled in.
Yeah, having assistance also helps. But you have to start somewhere. Like, my husband once told me an analogy with a rocket, when it's launching.
Okay.
And I kind of like it because at the first moments, the rocket is there just, completely on fire. All the fuel it has, it's being burned on the first few seconds because it needs all the amount of energy to go up.
Yeah.
So at first, you need to bring, all the fuel, all the energy to bring the amount of steel, out in the air. Whereas after a while, once it's starting to leave the wounds, leave the whatever is giving weight, it kind of gets in a flow. So it doesn't need to burn that much energy anymore. It kind of keeps up with the pace.
Okay.
And I guess this is the same with any project you're trying to build. I mean, in my case, trying to build a company and, impact people's lives. At first, it was just me, it was like just two hands, I can do a certain amount of things. And then came my partner, and then came Jana, who gracefully embraced my dream. And then, you start seeing things growing, and then you start bringing people to help you. So I think, Vision, as your example, he's a big entrepreneur. He's got a massive company, loads of employees. And of course, he's got loads of assistants with every single bit in his company. But I'm sure in the beginning, he was probably having some burnouts too, because it's inevitable. I mean, it might be a belief. There might be a way to do it in a different way, but that's the way I know. Spending a lot of energy at first, and then once you build like a good foundation, you just kind of, put a little bricks, a little vase, start decorating, but you need good base, and it's hard work. What can you do?
That's true. And I mean, I think you could even put that on a very small scale of putting, habits into place, even little ones, like once you start doing this little stretch in the morning, it's so much easier to add a second stretch, but it takes you, it's, that big hump, the rocket shooting off to get you to do that first stretch.
Yeah.
So that kind of snowballs in. Yeah, I like that. That's cute.
Just let everybody know, just in case you are not understanding or not following 100% of the content, just be okay with it, because you can watch the replay here on YouTube later, or you can listen to the audio in our podcast later. So don't worry, just take the opportunity to follow a spontaneous conversation, which is good because this is real life conversation, right? Yeah. But if you feel like coming back and watching it again and listen to it again, you're free to do it.
That's fine.
Yeah. Burnout. So it can be physical and mental.
Well, there's 3 segments of burnout.
All right.
Would you like me to read them to you?
Yeah, tell me more about it.
So the first one is emotional exhaustion, followed by decreased sense of accomplishment. And the third one is depersonalization. Depersonalization.
Depersonalization. Okay. Well, feel free to develop each of them.
So, the emotional exhaustion is the fatigue from carrying too much for too long. All right. The decreased sense of accomplishment is the feeling that nothing you do makes a difference. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that can be on a big scale or a small scale. It can be cleaning up after your family or solving the world's issues.
Yeah, because there is motherhood burnout too. It's not just for work. Just a little parenthesis here, because I have a friend, she's a mother of two, and we were talking about this, and she said she was feeling, I feel like I have some of these, not effects, some of these feelings. And then I was like, yeah, it's not just for the ones who are working hard. You are a mom of two, they demand a lot of your attention. You have your house and you also have a part-time work. So, read something about, just Google it. I said, Google motherhood burnouts. And she found loads of articles about it. It was so enlightening for her. So yeah, there are many types of ways to burn yourself out.
Well, they find that the emotional exhaustion is also mostly women and mothers, which kind of comes down to the next segment about human beings and human givers. But we're going to finish the last of the three segments, which is depersonalization, which is the depletion of caring, empathy, and compassion. So that kind of also
doing what with compassion and say again?
Oh, depletion. So it's when you're losing your
empathy and compassion.
Yeah, and your will to care for those things.
Okay.
And so they kind of go on to explain that human givers are often people who are trying to serve. That's why they end up being mothers. They've got all these people and they have to take care of everyone. But also women fall under the, and this is sort of a society thing, but that they also have to be pretty, funny, caring, feminine, and all of those things consistently while trying to deal with all the feelings of being a human. And so
that's hard work.
It is hard work. And so on the flip side, human beings just live their lives. They take from the givers and they carry on.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's a bit of a spectrum. And so you want to be into the middle where you can give and receive, but it tends to be more difficult for women to get over that barrier because they've been conditioned to be all of these things, and you have to accept them and caregivers.
Yeah, because that's what they teach us when we are little girls, right? Be nice to everybody, be compassionate. And I think this is a very wide subject because somehow I like, the idea of being feminine and giving our feminine energy, which is caring, which is, nurturing our home, nurturing our relationships, our family. I like this idea. And to be honest, for a while, maybe when I was younger, maybe teenager, I was fighting against it, and I feel like I hear lots of my girlfriends saying the same. Like we were growing up, seeing our mothers in general going to work and at the same time trying to cope with home and house, being a woman, being a mother, and all those women responsibilities.
And being judged for it by all the other women.
Yeah, but you see, we are not... There aren't many generations apart. Like it's just like me, my mom, and my grandma, and like a huge difference between us three.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Only 3 generations, And I'm 35 now, and I can see already younger generations even more different. So I'm like, come on, what's going on? We need, to have references to what it is to be a woman, and be feminine and bring our feminine energy. So to sum up, I felt like I was going against it. I was always bringing my masculine energy, and it's not about gender, right? It's about energy, like feminine and masculine, yin yang and black and white.
Power versus love, kind of, strength versus love.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like this was very unbalanced on me. Let's say 10 years ago, I really didn't know the difference. I was really I don't know, against men somehow, like equality and I'm as strong as you, yada yada. But there is a kind of distortion, I think, in this idea where it's okay. You can be feminine. You can be. I don't think weaker is the right word, but we
Yeah.
are fragile. We are fragile, and it's okay to be fragile. But I mean, bringing all this subject to say, we see nurturing, we see being feminine and giving and caring in a very
We see it as weak.
yeah, we see it as weak, and
it doesn't need to be. No, and I think I don't know where along the lines that it became so bad to care about stuff. Like being vulnerable about anything, like that's your weakness. Now we can use it to exploit you.
And this is why I like Brené, because she talks about vulnerability in such a beautiful way.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think that as far as the last sort of 100 years between our grandmothers and ourselves, I would argue that women had to use their masculine side, much like you did, to show men that women can be strong and can be tough and can be all of those things and aggressive and whatever. And now I feel like we're turning around a curve where women are just like, I can be like that, but like, I don't have to.
Yeah, we come to a place of choice now.
Yeah, well, and I think that in my experience in boardrooms and in meetings with marketing teams and that kind of stuff, I found that the best people to work with are the ones who are most collaborative. Mm-hmm. And most collaborative people are women who are like, yes, and, I found that when women bring their idea to the table, they're not so set in it. So they're willing to work on this aspect, or if someone has a better idea here, sure, let's do it. And, I find that to be so much more productive than someone coming in and saying, this is how we're doing it. This is what I want. Because sure, it may be a brilliant idea, but you may have gaps in it that other people will see. And if you are willing to work with them and use your compassionate side and understanding and communicative side, then what you're trying to accomplish is going to end up being so much better.
Yeah.
You know,
that's beautiful what it said.
Yeah, well, I think that there's good for yin and yang, and I think that men and women should be in all the rooms together. Like, that's how good decisions will be made, and that's how people should end up, behaving in front of one another.
That's minimal, right? As to be a healthy society.
I have a dream.
Yeah, but you see, I feel like this is all about having femininity and masculinity healed, because I follow loads of Instagrammers and people that are authorities in the subject. They write books about it, and always talking about healing our feminine side as women, right? So it's a big process about healing how we see ourselves as women, but there is also the healing about how men see themselves, because there is a toxic way about how men see themselves, how they see, because it's hard for them too, if you think about it, like they grow up having the responsibility and the idea that they have to provide, they have to be the strongest, the family, it's always relying on them. It's hard for them as well, and they cannot show their emotions. If you cry, you're weak. Like,
you can't be weak. And so we've put together the idea of being feminine with being weak. And so that's why there was people used to make fun of you, like, you throw like a girl. Well, how else do you want me to throw? I am a girl.
Only way to do it.
Yeah, like, I'm okay at baseball.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I think that that's what needs to switch. And so the term that's been popularized for that is toxic masculinity. Mm-hmm. And so that's the assumption of everything that you just said, where the man has to do this and is pressured to do this and has to provide. And I think that structure may have worked in the past when there wasn't birth control, and so things have changed. And I think in that sense, when things evolve, we need to realize that masculine and feminine aren't particularly roles, but parts of your soul, your spirit.
Yeah.
Like feminine work or like women's work, like cleaning the house and stuff. That's just domestic stuff you got to do when you live somewhere.
It's funny. My sister-in-law, she's got a little boy. He's over a year old. And we always discuss about this because when she was a little girl, she loved to play football, with the boys, in the street. And she loved being around the boys and playing like as boys were playing. She didn't want to be with the dolls and, pretend she was doing like little foot. She was this kind of girl. And now she's got a boy. And it's funny because we see, now she's raising him, like she's bringing him up. Mm-hmm. And it's a big responsibility, of course, to raise a healthy man, happy with his masculinity, And we were discussing because it was Children's Day a few days ago on the October 10th. And I was thinking about what present I would give him. And as soon as we went to the store, if you go to the boy section, it's all the same. Little cars, dinosaurs, whatever, all sorts of boy things. And I wasn't really thinking. I went straight to the dinosaur. I was like, yeah, he's gonna like this dinosaur. And my husband was like, her, your sister-in-law. You better think, like, because she's this kind of girl. Like, you should give him little brooms because he's gonna have to help, with the cleaning.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, give him a doll because he's gonna be a father one day. He's gonna have to play with dolls and all this kind of stuff. So we found. We went to the girls' session. I'm like, what am I getting? Everything here is pink, and I was like, okay, let's think this through. So finally, we found a little toy, which is like a pizza. So 8 pieces of pizza, plastic.
Okay.
And then you have the cutter, the round one that you can cut the pizza. And then the other 2 that you can pick the piece of pizza.
Yeah.
So that's what I got him. And both tools were pink and purple. So I got it. And then I was like, yeah, Children's Day, here's the gift. And you don't give to the kid, you give to the mom because he's not able to open it.
Right. Yeah.
And I was just watching her reaction. Once she opened it, she was so excited. She was, that's the best gift he got this day, because he got loads of cars, he got loads of dinosaurs, but that one, and you have no idea, he enjoyed it so much. He couldn't get over it. He was literally serving pizza because it's also an internal joke because every week they have pizza at home. This is like, they love pizza. And I was like, he needs to learn how to, serve mom a piece because you guys are always going to have pizza here. You guys love it. So it was so cute. He really loved playing with cutting the pizza. And he was like pretending, with a little piece of plastic. He was eating it. And I was shocked. So all this to say, like, it was supposed to be a girl present, but that was, a little boy having so much fun with a pink spoon, trying to help it to serve. So yeah, like, how healthy was it? But maybe a few years ago, this kind of behavior would be questionable.
Oh, and like that, it was totally frowned upon. And I mean, I see it all the time too. But for this little boy, like, who cares? Now he learned how to eat pizza? Like, oh, what are you teaching a child?
With a pink spoon.
Yeah, whatever. Great. Now we know how to use a spoon.
So you see, now we have this opportunity. I think the more we start talking about it and opening people's minds, I mean, it's okay for girls to play things that are blue or the opposite. But my point is just bringing up healthy kids, that they can understand that it's okay. Like, if he's sad, it's okay for him to cry. Because I see men, I mean, this is general. I'd say 99% of men, they are really conscious about crying openly.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad. My husband was saying, like, for you girls, it's so easy because you can just hang out, just call each other and talk about your feelings. He was like, I cannot do this with my boys, I cannot just call a man, I'm so sad, like, this is happening. But I don't do it. Yeah, and it's sad. They should have this openness, to talk about their feelings.
They absolutely should. And I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine is dating a new guy, and I met him recently, and we got chatting because I'd like to talk about feelings with everyone. And he was saying how most recently he has started in his group chat with all of his like boys. They talk about their feelings when they're feeling a little depressed. If they're not feeling on, like they let each other know. I know.
Cute.
It's really sweet. And I'm so proud of them. I'm tearing up a little bit right now because I'm a lady and I can cry whenever I want.
Absolutely. Just do whenever you feel it.
But it warms my heart to see people who are really trying to embrace their feelings and like understand themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, all of our actions are a result of what we feel. And so the more we know and can adapt to our feelings, the better we can react to things.
And this is related to burnout, isn't it?
Oh, probably. Let me flip the page.
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't, right, in my case, if I'm just working, and I do not have some spare time to talk to my girls and say how I'm feeling and how tired I am, just to moan a little bit. Come on, you know, it's okay to moan just a little bit. You know, just to kind of digest whatever you're feeling. But if you don't do it, you kind of repress it. So that's why.
Well, exactly. So what happens are emotions are tunnels. So you have to go all the way through. And so the exhaustion, the emotional exhaustion happens when you get stuck in the tunnel. So that's when you get trapped in your thoughts, you start ruminating about things, and you can't seem to find a way through.
I like the analogy again.
Yeah, well, these are not my analogies, but these ladies did good work.
Very good.
So a lot of the feelings that get you stuck in the tunnel are shame, rage, grief, helplessness. And so what you need in your life is a loving presence to guide you through. And so I would argue that those are people we call healers. You know, healers. Yeah, just certain people that when you speak to them and you have an interaction with them, you immediately just feel better after.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know why, but you're like, okay.
It made me feel better.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the tunnel because once I heard, right, I remember when. I was in New York in Gabrielle Bernstein workshop, Spirit Junkie Masterclass.
Just living your best life.
Yeah, honestly, it was the best choice at that time. And she was talking about, actually it wasn't her, it was her coach, who is Ra Goddess. She's amazing. Just Google her. She's incredible. Ra Goddess. Ra, which is RHA Goddess.
Okay.
And Ra was saying, because we were talking about feelings and stuff, and she was saying, if you're feeling pain, feel the pain. Don't fight against it. Like if you're sad, feel the sadness. Just be sad. Don't be like, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be sad. I should be feeling something different because you're resisting it. And she says, what you resist persists. I love that.
I know, it's such a useful rhyme.
Isn't it? Like if you keep resisting it, like I don't want to feel it. I'm in pain, but I don't want to feel it. But you are in pain. So feel the pain and let it go. And more than that, she was saying, find in your body where you're feeling this pain. So you're sad. Okay, is it in your chest? Is it on the stomach? Is it in your back? Because sometimes you are so tense, you know. Is it in your head? Where is it? Find the pain. Like you are sad. Okay, where is it in your body? And most times you're going to find maybe it's in your heart or in your stomach, because usually these are
in the main bit,
yeah. We would say chakras, but we can leave it for another time.
I was already picturing the colors of chakras. But
yeah. But once you find the pain and you dwell in it, you know, you kind of let you leave it or you let it be, and you can see it dissipating, you know, because you're giving it space to be. I don't know if that's very philosophical, but I found it so true because I was there in that moment. I was like very anxious, very worried with everything that was happening in my life. I was like, okay, let's feel this pain. Okay, where is it? I was like finding or scanning my body. Where is this pain? And I don't know, it was probably in my stomach or in my heart. And then I was just there, you know, feeling it. And then after a while, she says after 90 seconds, that's what she said. After being there 9 seconds, feeling your pain, you will feel that it's not there, or it's that at least minimized. And I found it incredible. I was like, it works, and yeah, it's a good exercise.
That's so true and like so relevant. I only recently have let myself cry again, which is why I can't ever turn it off. But I was having a particularly sad day a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, "That's it, I'm done. I don't want to do anything anymore. Forget it." And so I sat and I cried, just sobbed, just like it wasn't ever going to end, like giant anime tears. Or
like, I can imagine, like a cartoon.
And then after probably about a minute, I stopped crying because I was like, well, I haven't got it left in me. You know, like, all right, we'll just.
I've had enough of crying. Let's carry on this day.
You know, like if that was my pain, okay, get up.
But you see, again, we come back to this point. Like, if you're feeling like crying, sometimes we hold it. And can you imagine men doing it, Heather, all the time? Because we girls, we can talk, and I don't know, even by yourself, just on your own. Okay, I'm gonna take this time now to cry. I'm gonna give myself this opportunity to just let it go. But what about men? It's difficult for them to do it. You know, it's not as easy as it is for us.
Yeah, and I mean, and the thing is too, I almost feel like if men are crying, they can't get caught crying. So you'd have to be like somewhere so alone, like, you know, in your shower, just having your scheduled cry.
Scheduled cry?
You know, like, I don't think that's fair either.
Love it. By the way, if you are with us here live, let us know. Do we have boys here on our chat? Tell us, do you feel these difficulties, you know, to talk about your feelings or to have a special moment for you to cry? I mean, this is the open space, no judgment. Feel free to talk to us about it, because the more we guys have opportunities to talk about it, you know, the more it gets like as a normal subject, because a few years ago people wouldn't really talk about it, but now we can talk about it. You know, we're open here on YouTube and on the podcast. Yeah, we have the opportunity to talk about it. So do we have boys here? Oh, we have here Renato, Luciano. Let me see. Lots of girls. We have ladies, layers. Mr. Strada, I don't know your name. Diego, T15. Lots of students here. Philip. So you guys, tell us, do you feel that it's never easy for you to cry, or you feel judged if you're crying, or if you're talking openly about your feelings? We want to hear you.
I do want to hear you.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear from mothers of boys. If they're teaching them, you know, life skills. Are they teaching their sons how to cook? Are they teaching their sons
clean?
Yeah.
Like, children.
You live by yourself. How are you going to live?
Cool. So we have here Giovanna, Cristiane, Bruna, Leticia, Neiva, Maria, Sonia. We have lots of ladies here. So does any of you, do you have like boys? Are you a mother of a boy? Or even if you're a mother of a girl, do we have mothers here?
Yeah.
How do you see it? Let's talk about it, guys. Because I mean, I'm not a mother. I'm always open to learn. So hopefully, when I am a mother, I will have like, you know, something already learned during the way.
Hey, I'll do my research now.
Yeah, we never know. Like, it's always different when it's in your moment to be a mother. I know, but we can always learn from each other.
Well, and I think it's so easy to say, like, this is how we should raise children when I have no children.
True.
We're not doing the day in, day out stuff. But I will say that a friend of mine has twins who are almost 3 years old. Okay. And I've seen videos of them putting their dishes away in the dishwasher.
Cute.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the way to go.
Do you feel like your mother was teaching you these things when you were a kid, Heather? How was it for you when you were a little girl?
When I was a little girl, my mom was more of the thought process of go play. I'll do this stuff. So we were always, you know, dinner's ready, and we would come home and there was food.
Yeah.
But I think that, so when my mom was growing up, her mom kicked her out of the kitchen, but it was she was a little more mean about it.
I was going to talk exactly about this, about generations, because my mom was the same. So I was feeling like, yeah, our mothers, they probably didn't have this. So they were feeling like, okay, I'm going to give my daughter what I didn't have. So
yeah, more free time to play. And so that's what we did. And then, so my grandmother was she was just trying to get through the stuff in the kitchen and then get out of there. So she didn't teach my mom a lot of stuff there either, I don't think. I think my grandpa actually, he spent more time with my mom in the kitchen, like stuff. I think that's the tale.
Oh, look what we've got here.
Marco says, yes, I went by a sad situation recently, and it was very difficult for me to express my feelings and let other people see me crying. But at the end, I managed to talk about it with my mother. Oh, that's beautiful.
I wonder if he would have the chance or the openness to talk about his feelings with his father.
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, every family is different. I'm just wondering, just opening for conversation, because, what if men would open for their boys, to be always there to talk about feelings and cry together?
Yeah, I'm hoping to see that coming up. I think that the generation, like our generation of dads, like people who have young children right now, and that sort of maybe 25 to 45 range, I think they're still in the same boat as Marcos, and they're not allowed to be as sensitive. But I think that they're beginning to show it, and so we'll see the next generation of kids coming up. I think just so much more in touch with their emotions, and like able to articulate, this is why I feel sad, like using my words.
Yeah. I think it takes a few generations to have big changes, Yeah. To be honest, I think only for 3 generations, in my case, my grandma, my mom, and me, I can see already like huge gap between us 3. But in general, I think first to change a society, it's like few generations to go. So.
Yeah, but we see Marco's here. Thank you for sharing, by the way.
Thank you.
We'll see if if there's children in his life. I imagine that he's going to make sure that anyone can cry to him if they are feeling not well or not in their best spirits.
Yeah, but you see, we also have girls that feel that.
Okay.
Taina says,
I have a lot of difficulty to show my feelings too. I feel that.
I feel ya.
It's been, it took me years to be able to actually like say, this is why I'm angry, and this is why I did not care for this.
Yeah.
So,
but I think this comes from that subject, which is, I think me and you, we have that in common, that we have lots of masculine energy in our personality, which is, go do it, do not wait for someone to come and rescue, very like processual, and just do like, and not so much as receiving, energy, more like giving. But because we have this, then I think girls that have this kind of personality trait, so to speak, they do the same. Don't you think?
Well, and I think it's part of the, if you want to be successful in the boys' club, you can't be weak. And by showing any feelings, that makes you weak. And so you just learn to not express anything. And that's really hard for me because my face says what I'm thinking. So like, it's difficult. Yeah, well, and even just if I'm trying not to do something, like if there's something happening in a meeting that I'm not on board with, like I have to really try, I have to think about something else so that I'm not going. And my face is just showing that like my brain is exploding, and gotta tone it down.
I getcha.
Okay, we have another submission. How do we? Alendeno? Adenildo. Okay, I'll work on it. Says, I usually talk about my feelings with my mother, sometimes with my dog. He is a good listener.
They usually are.
Sweet. You know what, though? That's just like having an emotional support animal.
Well, in your case, you have cats, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're probably good listeners too.
They're excellent listeners. And they're also pretty vocal, though. They have a lot to say. We don't quite understand each other, but we've been getting along.
I can imagine. Yeah. Yeah. And I think all this emotions conversation and burning out and all this stuff, I think we should talk more and more, whenever we have an opportunity, because I think in general, people are kind of waking up for their, whatever are their feelings. Like if you're stressed, be present with your stress. Try to understand what was the trigger to make you stressed. And then once you have this awareness, you have an opportunity to heal it. But the point is that people are not present. Our mind is always wandering around, thinking about so many different subjects, like future and past, never present.
I'm thinking about presents that I want. Great, thanks.
The more present you are, the more you can name it. Like sometimes you are just going, on your day. I always say you press the automatic button. Like we always have the auto button, like you have a car, you just press and you go. Living without even think, like a zombie, just living a life without really being present. So if the more present you are, the more you can name what you're feeling and address it the proper way. Whereas if you are just as a zombie, you're just being rude to people, just being mean, and at the end of the day, your day was a shitty day, and you're like, I don't understand why I had a shitty day. Well, you were not there. It was just your body, walking around like a headless chicken, and then,
That's a good point. Like, you can take your body wherever you want to take it. But, like, if you're not there with it.
You must be there. Whatever your body is, just be there with it.
But, like, sometimes I would argue, I don't want to be there. So, like, but, like, okay, what if I'm sitting on a bus for an hour? Like, I don't want to be there. That sucks.
That's a good point. But you are there. You cannot. That's the thing with the resisting, okay? So you are there. You cannot resist. Like you have to be in the bus in order to get whatever you want to be.
I'm going to resist.
So as you are going to be there anyway, why not to try to go inwards and try to, hear what you're feeling. Like, okay, I'm annoyed. Let's be annoyed here. Let's just because if you're not aware, you are annoyed, but you're not aware that you are annoyed, then if someone, I don't know, steps on your feet, if someone just walk over you, or the bus goes too fast or too slow, the chance of you being very reactive, it's huge.
I know.
This is the point of being aware. It's not being reactive.
But how do you go to get on the bus? Like, I'm obviously annoyed. It's annoying and I'm annoyed because people keep stepping on me. And I mean, I obviously haven't done that in a while because social distancing, but like that is an issue in my life when you're going from like subway car, or like in whatever LRT or a tube, whatever you call it in the country. You're running from that to a bus and there's 700 people. Like, you're going to get stepped on. You're going to get kicked. Someone's going to hit you with their elbow, maybe their lunch bag. That is annoying.
Okay, so here comes a coaching question. I can't help.
Please.
What could you do to minimize your stress in this kind of situation?
Well, you can listen to music.
Great. What else?
Find a job that you can walk to.
Awesome. What else?
I mean, you could get a car. You could take an Uber. You could just wear a hula hoop skirt and people will have to stay away from you.
I can see loads of alternatives already.
Now all I have to do is cough. You just cough a little bit and the sea opens up.
But you see, I have to coach you like live, because the thing is, whenever you have annoying situations, I mean, it's part of life. Annoying situations, they will happen. But the point is, what do you do with it? So how can you minimize? How can you strategize so you can minimize the stress, or how can you bring your vibration higher even though you are in the kind of situation? Because it will happen. Like, this is life. Welcome to planet Earth. Here, three-dimensional, planet. This is how things work. We have ups and downs and black and white, but the more present you are, the more you can strategize. How can you not be so reactive and navigate and not get stuck in a tunnel?
Yeah, I gotta get out of that tunnel. But then, like, on the flip side, sometimes you do. I don't want to sound like I hate the bus that much. Like, I dislike it, but I mean, it's not always terrible. And
yeah,
there's days where you'll see. Like, I remember one day there was some kid had his bike, and the buses here in Ottawa, you put the bike on the front of the bus and like a little contraption. And you could tell that this kid was just like a little bit too small for his bike. And so everybody had loaded the bus, and you could see he was just like jimmying it and trying to like flip it around. And so like I was able to go in and just flip it in and get it tight and then like run off and catch my bus. And you can see he was just so happy.
You see,
like,
I had this conversation a while ago with a friend, and she was saying that she's got a mantra. And whenever she's in a situation that she doesn't want to be, like in a meeting or somewhere in her office, whatever, her mantra was, I see love. I see love. So wherever she was looking at, she was looking for love. Any kinds of love. It could be like a flower in a heart-shaped flower. Or it could be like a mom, helping the kid and somehow, because you are seeking, there is a scientific name for this in your focus. I don't know in English, but in Portuguese it's SAR, which is it's something that happens in your mind. I forgot the name now, which is
the law of attraction.
It could be a lot of attraction, but there is a scientific name for it, which is this. I have to Google it. SAR. Okay. It's regarding to your focus. So, sistema de ativação reticular. Okay, in Portuguese it's sistema de ativação reticular. In English would be reticular activation system. Maybe RAS. Let me see if it works. RAS focus. Let me see if Google brings me this. Reticular activating system. You see, it works.
Good.
Yeah,
you are good.
So whenever you wanna hear more about it, just Google it. Reticular activating system, or RAS in English, SAR in Portuguese. It's a scientific way they found to explain how our attention goes. So this is why bringing intention to your day, bringing intention to all you do is very important, because your brain, I mean, there are thousands of things happening with me at the same time here, right? There are flies flying everywhere. Okay. My neighbor just decided to cut the grass. My dog is trying to dig something on the floor. I mean, there are hundreds of things going on, but I decide where I want to bring my focus. So if you decide, if you're not aware, if you are a zombie, right, not bringing the intention, what's going to happen? Your day, you're just going to see shitty stuff going on, because both are there. We have good stuff happening. We have bad stuff happening. They're always there. This is the 3D word, right? We live in a duality situation here. Yeah. So they're both there. So this is the point of being intentional. Like, I want to see the good stuff. I want to see love. So for example, if you are on the bus, if you are with this mantra, trying to be intentional and trying to see good stuff, your brain, it's very clever. You will find, it's going to show you around what's going on. As an example, you sit down, the bus is going around, and you can see maybe outside a mother helping the kid, or a couple kissing, or a beautiful sunset, whatever. You are bringing the intention to see whatever is good around, even though you are in a situation where you wouldn't really be enjoying being there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I see love, because it gives you, not only are you like, I'm not trying to see it, like I am seeing it. Yeah. Where is it? You know,
it's here somewhere.
You know, I see matter.
Yeah, it's just a matter of me adjusting. Like there is a little button, like a volume. I just have to adjust here. Love, fear. You know?
It's your own lens, basically. Whatever you choose to see it through.
Yeah.
I want to know if you've ever heard of, it's a TV show, but it was a man who essentially did it all, and it was called Mr. Rogers, and the show was called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so this was a show for kids, and it was a Canadian show, which we have less than Americans, and so this was something that like most Canadian kids grew up with, and so Mr. Rogers was just like a kind old man. And he had these little puppets, and he would teach stories about kindness, and just a real treasure. And one of his main, I guess, quotes, I think he's passed away now, but one of his main things to say was, in the event of a tragedy, look for the heroes.
Like that. I really like him. I don't know him, but I really like him.
Right. And so he taught people to see if there was a national crisis or something bad was happening. He was like, look for the people who are helping.
So this man knew a lot about reticular activating system. He was there. He knew what he was talking about.
He was clearly a pioneer of it.
Visionary, I'd say. Visionary.
No, he actually, like, his claim to fame was that he saved children's programming on CBC. So that's the Canadian Broadcast Corporation.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on any of these details, but he went and pleaded with I don't know. I think they were trying to take him off the air or whatever, and he went and was like, "No, children need these kindness shows." And like, lawyers had been fighting for days, and he came in, and it took him, I think, 14 minutes of like an impassioned speech to say, we need to keep these shows and we need to keep stuff for children. So yeah, he was a very kind man. He had a lot of feminine energy.
And are you feeling emotional again?
Yeah, but always.
How does it work, really? Because I don't know. Oh, I have not a theory. I mean, I have a friend, and she does birth charts. And she said, I do not have enough water in my chart, and that's why I don't cry them as much. But your birth chart must be, that's why you're a mermaid. That makes sense now.
Just so much
That's
water.
why you love water, because you probably have loads of water on your birth chart.
I don't think I do.
Have you checked it?
I'll double check it. I know that I'm an earth sign, but I should really see what my major things are. I wonder if they are water.
You must have loads of water. I mean, I'm also an earth sign, but it's not just a sun sign. You have loads of things going on. I'm just wondering, because I was talking to this friend. I was like, I want to cry. I want to bring my emotion. And she was like, well, for you, it's a bit of a challenge here, because you do not have that, so you have to work on it.
So interesting.
That doesn't mean I'm emotionless. It's just I'm not.
No.
It's just not as easy as it is like for you.
Yeah, well, it's surprisingly easy, but I mean, I can't really stop it now either. It's gotten to the point where I just, like, if I'm gonna cry, I'm just gonna cry a little bit.
I'm just gonna give a cry just really quickly.
Yeah, no, I don't schedule this. No power cries. Just have a momentarily of a moment. I mean, I think it's just, I feel very strongly and deeply for things, and so to not hold on to that, I just have.
You are intense, love. You are intense.
I know.
Should we open for questions?
I think it is time. Thanks, Jenna.
So, how's Jenna? 1 hour. Okay, yeah. Jenna is telling us. Okay, questions, guys. This is your moment. You can ask anything. It can be about what we were talking about. It can be about something else. totally up to you. But we like to open this moment at the end just so we can interact. I mean, this is the point of doing things live, which means, we've got lots of people here, 60 people live. So yeah, let's chat, let's interact. And whenever you have the chance to come and interact with us every Friday at 12:34, we are here having a coffee with you. But remember, you can always watch it again. You can always listen to it again on our podcast. But the main point of being live this broadcast is that we can interact. So be happy or be free to make any questions. Just so Lucia says, I always express my feelings. That's very good, Lucia. I appreciate that.
I also see Marco said that depending on your family, that situation is more difficult to talk with your father about. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this was from earlier when we had been talking to Marcos. And he says, no, in my opinion, depending on how your family is, that situation is more difficult to talk about with your father if you are a man. Which is, what we kind of thought too.
Yeah, it just depends on how your family deals with it. And every family is different. So, yeah, I think it's just a matter of opening the subject and bringing awareness, and then every family will deal with it the best way they can. So
I would also think that it's probably more difficult for two men who have never spoke about their feelings that deeply to engage that way than it would be for someone to engage with their mother or, a partner or someone who is more used to talking about feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. Claudia says,
I talk about my feelings with God. And then she put little prayer hands. That's a good way to do it.
That's, I think, the best way. I mean, who better than God to know, what to do with your feelings? So, yeah.
That's great.
Just have a little prayer, It's always a good option, I'd say.
Yeah, or even just a little pep talk for yourself.
Journaling is good.
Yeah.
Always helps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it seems that we don't have questions.
Okay.
Please feel free to leave your comments below whenever, what about anything you want to bring about the subject. Like, there's so much to talk about in regards to what we're saying. So feel free to leave your comment below.
Mm-hmm.
And come back every Friday, 12:34, to hang out with us, or keep following us on inamara.com/podcast. Have a play for it. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. And everyone, thanks for joining us.
It's always a pleasure.
Have a good day.
So I see you next week, everybody. Mwah. Hope to see you again. Bye.